And our 2 hours of domination continues right here on Stadium. What's good, everybody? Welcome back, and welcome to hour number 2. This is the Coach and Bro Show, your favorite remote YouTube, Stadium, Amazon Prime Pro Wrestling show that is anywhere in this world. I, of course, am the coach. Before I bring in my partner, we have one very big announcement. You've heard of BTT conversations. We do them whenever it makes sense. Recently, we had the president of USA Network, Chris McCumber, on. He was amazing. We had David Otunga on. He was amazing. But that pales in comparison to what we have later this afternoon on our BTT YouTube page. The one and only Killer Karrion Kross will join us today or tonight, depending on where you live, at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Turn on your notifications, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You do not want to miss this one. There will be no mamby-pamby questions. I can promise you that. Now, the man who made it all happen, of course, he's my partner. He's a world traveler. He's a superstar from russosbrand.com. My guy, what's up, Mr. Russo?
What is going on, Coach? It's great to see your smiling face, you and producer man. Also, I want to thank Tommy for stepping in. This last week was really a whirlwind for me, but it's nice to be back home, not just home, but home with the Coach and Bro Show.
We miss you, baby. I've had so many people, I'm telling you, probably 15 to 20 people that are so worried that this show is going to stop because of your new role with the ICP and I always say it wrong, so say it correctly so the people who don't know what you're doing yet.
Yeah,
ICP.
I am working for JCW, which is Juggalo Championship Wrestling. They do a show called Lunacy. As a matter of fact, I got a new episode every Thursday night. There's one tonight, a brand new episode at 7 o'clock tonight. Check it out. Been working with them, been working with Violent J, and oh my gosh, I could talk about that human being for hours. It's very, very exciting to be working in wrestling, Coach, and not in a political environment. Because we've talked about that so many times, and so many times at my age, I said there was just no way with the politics involved. Absolutely no way. This is politic free, and it's such a breath of fresh air, man.
I got to tell you, we've become so close and such good friends professionally and personally that now, well over a year, this is the happiest that I've seen you. I mean, you look like you're 30 years younger in the last week or two. It's crazy. And it's amazing what can happen when you do something in a business you love that kind of turns you off for a while, and then you meet people that you feed off of. Now those juices get back going, and I cannot wait. And we're going to focus, and we're going to elevate that brand on this show. 1,000%. That's what we're going to do, because from what you're telling me, I can't wait to see all the reality storylines that you're going to put out there, the things that nobody else would touch that you're going to put out there. So super excited. What guys you're going to bring in. Did I read correctly? Did Matt Cardona just participate in one of your shows?
Well, not only that, but Cardona won the JCW championship, and I just heard from Violent J a couple of minutes ago. Big show, Coach. Listen to this, because I know a big part of this show is ticket prices.
Yeah.
They're putting on, JCW Lunacy is putting on a show November 22nd, a wrestling show. He just informed me Nick Nemeth is coming in, so we'll probably have Nick go for the title against Cardona.
Okay.
On top of, Coach, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Not only are the tickets free, no charge, bro, they're giving away 500 turkeys absolutely free.
How do they make money in this organization?
Listen, between 500 turkeys and 800 bottles of Faygo, you tell me, Coach, but it's a free event, 500 free turkeys.
Yesterday, every Wednesday, I work with Nick Nemeth. I know what his price tag is to come to a show.
Yes.
So it seems like these guys are in it for all the right reasons, and you're getting all the right names, positive, still somewhat young, guys that are hungry. Cardona and Nick Nemeth are two of my favorites.
Absolutely. It's really two things, man. It's like I said, man, politic free. Violent J is the boss. Everybody knows he's the boss. He's been doing this for 26 years. And my gosh, he has the respect of everybody. Everybody. The way he treats you when you work for him, that's why all these people are going to be coming in, man. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a switch because, people don't watch wrestling on YouTube. That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
But Coach, I just guarantee you this show is going to be Wrestling 2025.
Now, I saw earlier today, so TNA, they just announced that internationally they have their first media rights deal. And they're going to be streaming in, I think, 17 Latin American countries. So I'm sure that will grow, and that's what they're working on. Could that be something, and maybe it's too early, maybe you can't tell me, I don't know. But is that something you could see down the road for this?
Yeah, Coach, I'm already getting emails from people about streaming services who want us to climb on board. I'm already receiving emails. And you know, Coach, everything takes time. Yeah. Everything takes time. But I will say this, if you have a good product, it's going to pay off. If you have a bad product, it's going to work against you, what you and I have been saying for months and months and months.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that later in the show. TKO had their third quarter earnings call. Interesting. The John Cena tournament, that's been announced. Interesting. And then also Raw kind of felt old school. But I hate to kind of bring up a downer here in segment one. But you're talking about Nick Nemeth, who I work with. You're talking about good product, which I've always been about. And the farther you go, the weeks go by, I feel kind of like what the people on X felt like. They said, Coach, hopefully he will not leave you behind. And I kind of feel like Nick gets to be on the show before your boy in the main event.
Did I just not say everything takes time?
That's true.
Everything takes a little time, Coach.
You're right. I'll give you 2 weeks. I'll give you 2 weeks.
You got it.
Now, the other thing I'm super excited about, and we've been working on this, or you've been working on this for several weeks, because we're trying to expand the brand. We're going to be adding watch-alongs to some of the matches that you wrote, some of the matches I was a part of. That's going to come in early 2026. But we also have conversations, smart ones here on the show. I mentioned Otunga, Chris McCumber. But to get Karrion Kross later today, I'm super excited about, because he is the one guy that is super polarizing, super honest. And I think if you're looking at one guy, one name here in 2025, Vince, that everybody really wants to hear from, I think that name is Karrion Kross.
Yeah, Coach, there's a couple of things I'm really excited about, because I was talking to Karrion before his contract was up.
Okay.
And we talked about that press conference that he gave. Mm-hmm. And the story is amazing. And I couldn't say anything about it because obviously I didn't want anybody at WWE to know we were talking. But I cannot wait until he gets into the story of the aftermath of that press conference. Coach, it will blow your socks off. And I'm real interested in asking him one question, Coach.
What's that?
I want to ask him, when did you realize that you were not on Triple H's good list? And why do you think you were not on a good list? Because think about that, Coach. That's a horrible spot for talent to be in. I mean, you were a talent, but you were also an announcer. So you were going to announce. But my gosh, if you're a talent and this is your livelihood, and you are not in favor with the boss for whatever reason, that's got to be a really tough situation to be in, Coach.
I don't think it's a tough situation. I think it's an impossible situation. Yeah. It also makes you feel awful, especially when you're a guy like Karrion Kross, who has all the upside in the world. He's got a wife who arguably is the most dynamic female on that roster, and they never gave her due. That's going to be unbelievably frustrating to be offered a contract and go, oh, no, your wife, we don't need to pay her anything. It just kind of leads into everything that I've felt has been going on with WWE in 2025, all of the misses. And you and I go out of our way to try to find things that are positive. he was a positive.
Yes.
And you look at the roster right now and all of the people that are hurt, you don't think they could use Karrion Kross right about now?
Especially to put Aleister Black and his wife in that exact spot. That was the Karrion Kross Scarlet spot. I want to ask him how he feels about watching that now. There's so many questions I have, and here's the thing about him, Coach. What a intelligent and respectful individual. It will absolutely blow you away.
When I think of you just brought up when you're not in favor of with Triple H. And with Vince, it was different because with Vince, he could put his personal feelings aside. If you were going to make him money, he was all good with you, even if he didn't like you. I don't know if that's still the case. I watched last week, and I'm hoping that she has some type of an injury. But when your champion of over 300 days, Tiffy time, gets absolutely bulldozed with no offense whatsoever by Jade and loses the title, I felt like it made the title look like it didn't mean anything, and it makes Tiffany look completely weak when they're trying to build her up. Did you feel kind of that same way?
I absolutely did, Coach, and here is what I thought about, because regardless of what people say, we always give them the benefit of the doubt.
Always.
Do you remember we were asking this same question when Lesnar bulldozed Cena, and we gave them the benefit of the doubt, and we said, you know what? Maybe they're coming back around to that, and that is going to be Cena's last match. I got to tell you, Coach, if Brock Lesnar is not in this tournament, somebody needs to explain what happened to me there.
Well, I mean, why would we need Brock when we have Rusev and Damian Priest and Sheamus, who I actually like a lot, and Shinsuke? Why would we need Brock, who, by the way, I don't know if you heard this because you've been traveling all over the universe, but the WrestleMania commercial that they had, Brock didn't even bother to show up. Didn't even bother to show up. They had to put him in via AI.
Wow, I did not know that. Interesting.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that. No. Wow.
I mean, he can't fly from Minnesota or Canada, wherever he lives, to New York to
Coach,
film.
Again, and it's funny because I'm not gonna harp on Juggalo Championship Wrestling, but like on the first show, Violent J is getting into it with people in the locker room, and I make it clear, brother, you can't be one of the boys and you can't be management. And Coach, this is what this all goes back to. We said this, guys. Triple H, no, he's not an active wrestler. He may never wrestle again, but he has relationships with these people when he was an active wrestler. So there is going to be baggage. There is going to be favorites, and it's going to affect the booking. We've said this from day one, and I think we're starting to see this. But like I said, man, if Lesnar is not in this tournament, somebody has to explain to me what the squashing of John Cena from Brock Lesnar was all about, because we haven't seen Lesnar since.
Haven't seen Lesnar. We saw him once.
Yeah.
We saw him once, but he didn't talk. He didn't tell us why it was happening. We still don't know. And Rock said, whatever John wants. You think John really wanted to be bounced around for 5 minutes and then get squashed on his farewell tour? I doubt that. And oh, by the way, if you're going to announce a tournament, the package was amazing. Voiceover, amazing. You got to come out with your 4 biggest dudes. You're going to come out with, the C-level guys. Okay, we'll get more to that in the next couple of weeks as the first matches are this Friday. So we're going to get into that tournament coming up next. What do you guys make, first, of the decision to have a 16-man tournament, and then these 4 names with zero disrespect intended that are going to come out of the blocks on SmackDown on Friday night? It's very, very interesting for a man who we absolutely love in John Cena. Still to come in 20 minutes, Nick Khan, Raw, all of that, Coach and Bro, right here, Stadium Valley Sports Live.
JCW Lunacy. New episodes every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. For over 25 years, JCW has delivered the very best in pro wrestling entertainment, bringing fans deep storytelling drama, gut-busting comedy, and unbelievable in-ring action. From wild characters to unforgettable rivalries, JCW has built a legacy that spans generations of fans. Whether you've been watching since day one or you're brand new to the chaos, there's never been a better time to join the madness. See why JCW is the hottest promotion in independent wrestling today, where anything can happen, and usually does.
Take a look at this!
Don't miss a single moment. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube and catch up on past episodes right now. JCW Lunacy. It's more than wrestling, it's a way of life.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Coach and Bro Show here on Stadium and Bally Sports Alive. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Raw felt very old school, while SmackDown, they've got some issues when it comes to ratings and attendance. And then coming up in about 30 minutes, the TKO third quarter earning call. Some of the stuff they said might surprise you. Let's bring my guy back in, Vince Russo. Vince, I just got a text, and apparently there is some confusion on whether or not Brock was actually there. A buddy of mine texted me, he said, no, Coach, he was there. So I don't know if he was there or not there, but that would be very on brand for Brock, wouldn't it be, that if we didn't know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, Coach, with this, with AI, like, I mean, Coach, listen, you thought VKM holding baby Tony was legit, and I had to say, Coach, I really think that's it. Bro, AI is scary, Coach, because we don't know what we're looking at anymore.
No, we don't. By the way, speaking of baby Tony, I'll give him credit because I actually have grown to like him a great deal. I'm sure you didn't see this, but yesterday I was kind of like, my ex is going and I follow him on X. He posted a 27-minute video. And I always think, what would Vince do? A 27-minute video talking about a panel of young sports owners that he went to talk on. It's called Sportico in New York. The first thing he said is, hey, my dad's a good dad. And he traveled to see me on this panel. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
I mean, his dad's a multi-billionaire, but he's taking the time. You adore your dad. I adore my dad. But then yesterday before Dynamite, he did the exact same thing. He put out this one was like 11 minutes previewing AEW Dynamite. But you know what they did? And this is like the details. When the video started on X, you could hear him go, like the video started, he goes, okay, count me in. And then he started. And then at the end he went, and I was like, oh man, I want to get my hands on him so badly, not to make him cool, but just to help him out a little bit. I'm like, who's shooting this? And it was like a draped from a 1942 hotel. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah, but Coach, what do they say? You can't help somebody that doesn't want help. And I think Tony Khan has made it clear that he doesn't want help. Coach, I don't even know if you know this. Yeah, we had a video up. I don't know if you saw this or not. We had a clip on castrating the marks, and Meltzer was on the show. And while Meltzer is on the show live, guess who's calling him on his personal phone?
Tony Khan?
Absolutely. And Tony, I've been saying this from day one. If that is the guy you're going to go to for advice, this is the audience you're going to have. It's that simple. And obviously you're still going to him because this show is only a week old, Coach.
Well, I saw that video and I thought to myself, could that have been Meltzer? Because it could be like I could put a voice on like if you text me, it could go Tony Khan, if I wanted it to.
Right.
If I wanted it, like I could put your name. So I'm thinking, is this because I don't put anything past him? Yeah. I never met him. Like he's never met any of the boys. Like he just nothing. So I thought those were two things. Then in that long video, the 27-minute video 2 days ago, he said, we're being very successful. He goes, how do I know that? He goes, because I listen to the fans. I look at social, like he admitted it, which I'm okay with because the fans should dictate what you do. But I can't even imagine Vince going on video and saying, how do I know that we're doing a great job? I listen to the fans on social media. So I got to give him a lot of credit, though, because at least he's out there trying. And at least he's trying to be something different. And he literally in the video, Vince, put over every wrestler on the card.
Oh, yeah, and there's
Everyone.
no question. We've said that all along. The guy is trying, and that's usually one of our criticisms of Triple H and the WWE. The checks have been cashed, and they're phoning it in, and we've been saying that for a long time. But Coach, I got to tell you, man, going under that million mark, I always looked at that as the benchmark, and I kept saying to myself, once they go below that number, is that when they truly understand changes have to be made? I would love to hear your take on that real quick. That number is under $1 million now on SmackDown, and we could say the World Series, Halloween, and all that stuff. I don't want to hear it. Do you think that number could have been a wake-up call for that company and TKO?
I think publicly no, because I'm going to tell you what Ari Emanuel said on that TKO call on Wednesday. He said part of the reason for the revenue is the impressive ratings of SmackDown, that they led the primetime 9 different times. Well, you can put a spin on anything, but the bottom line is that not only did they have the lowest ratings of all time, but they only had 4,200 people in the building.
Wow.
And so when you say ticket prices aren't too high on a ratings call, and you go back 7 days or 5 days and there's 4,200 people in the house, I mean, I don't know even know how they make that work. So to me, they're not stupid. These are smart people. They're the reason they're in their positions. I think they're out of touch with this business in particular. They know how to run businesses. They made hundreds of millions of dollars, and we know that. But for this business, I just don't think the right people are involved. That's as plain as I can make it. And I wonder if Triple H and Nick Khan, who I've been around both, I wonder if they truly believe what they're saying, or behind closed door they're going, damn, we've got to play with these guys.
Well, Coach, it's interesting, and I just want to bring this up really quick, because when I read something, I really digest things, and I really try to think things out. But I was reading Triple H's comment about we don't book according to good matches. Mm-hmm. We book first of all, you've booked this entire Cena finale on matches. Okay, bro? It's a tournament, Trips. There's no stories at all in this tournament. But, Coach, when I really listen to what he says, we don't base this on matches. We base it on, what matchups create stories. And, Coach, I watch these shows, and I am asking a legitimate question. Mm-hmm. What stories are we talking about? What they did on Monday night with Logan Paul, that's not a story. A story is, if a guy is going to turn, Coach, you set the table. That is a term I always use. Coach, when somebody was injured and JR said, Vince, Austin's coming back in 4 weeks. Time to set the table. What does that mean? You set up the story for when he finally comes, the place blows up. You got to set the table. So I'm looking at this story on Monday with Logan Paul, and I'm like, what is the story? Coach, please help me with this. When Triple H is talking about stories, I don't know what a story is to Triple H.
This is a very, very good question. And now you have me thinking, which is why I love doing the show with you, because I came into the show going, man, I really enjoyed Raw. Now, I did enjoy that first segment just from an entertainment standpoint, because I love Logan Paul. But if you're asking me that question, why did Logan Paul come out? Well, at that moment, it didn't make any sense. Should we be patient enough? Because he came out, got his ass handed to him by the Bronze, and then at the end of the show, he's got the brass knucks. and he hands him to Paul Heyman, and he turns on CM Punk, which he's a heel anyway. It was weird for him to come out and back up CM Punk at all. So maybe we should have saw that coming. But to me, the only thing that will make this really pay off is if he's a loner and says, no, I'm just doing what's good for my business on that night. Or if they say we need a bona fide heel for the Vision because Braun Breaker is getting barked at every time he comes out and they're turning him babyface and Bronson Reed doesn't talk. That's the only thing I can think, Vince. I don't know.
I don't know, Coach, because again, if you're looking at one guy on that roster that absolutely positively does not need Paul Heyman, it's Logan Paul. What they need to put Heyman with guys that they need to get over. Bronson Reed was well on his way to getting over. Braun Breaker was on his way to get it. Now Logan Paul, they need, if they're going to use Heyman, they need to put Heyman with undercard guys to help get over.
What if all three guys, well, because we know they watch the show. We get quoted everywhere. What if they are putting them together? And because we know Paul works with all of the top guys. He writes their promos for them. He's already said that on the Ariel Helwani show. He works for all the big stuff. So what if he's just here until Logan joins and then they kick him out? Would that be entertaining to you? Would that make sense to you?
He's not, listen, man, every guy he's with, when Roman Reigns loses, the wise man is dead. There is no wise man. If you're a wise man, Roman Reigns is not going to lose under your tutors and guidance. But Coach, listen, I'll throw this back to you. It's this easily. Matt Cardona is now the JCW World Champion. Okay, I got the stroke on the show because I'm 51% investor. The last guy I would tie myself to would be Matt Cardona because Matt Cardona does not need Vince Russo.
Right.
The last guy in the world. Now, I will look at this roster and I will look at some of the young guys that I could see potential and it's okay. That's where I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. This is always one of my criticisms of Paul Heyman because I think this is what he uses to keep the spot where he's latching his wagon to somebody that's already established. That in itself, Coach, makes zero sense. Logan Paul arguably is the best talker in that company. Forget on that show, in that company.
He might be the biggest heel right now in the company. And the problem is that he came out of nowhere the other night. He hadn't been here for 2 months.
Right,
we haven't seen him. And they keep allowing these part-time deals to get in place because I think they're like, we can save a little bit of money. But these guys need to be here every week because then we can see what Logan Paul truly can do as a full-time talent and not just dip in and dip out.
Agreed.
All right, we're only halfway home. Coming up on the other side, the tournament. That's kind of being woven into all of the Raws and SmackDowns that are coming up over the course of the next month. What do we think about it? And then the earnings calls. Some very interesting statements coming out of the multi-gazillionaires. This is Coach and Bro right here on Stadium and Valley Sports Live.
The following announcement has been paid for by Behind the Turnbuckle Plus, the new pod order. BTT Plus. Yeah, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Oh, it's extra content right here, chicos. Think about it. BTT Plus, taking over the pod game. Live Q&As, watch-alongs, new shows. BT, is that okay, Plus. Big Tommy? Enter the war room, Turnbuckle style. Plus, it's the new way. We call it BTT Plus. The genesis has begun. The beginning of the new pod or BTT. Everybody wants to know what to do next. Well, just scan the code. The Pod Revolution starts now. The preceding announcement has been paid for by Behind the Turnbuckle Plus, new pod order.
We are only halfway home. We're just past the bottom of the hour. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Also, if you want to watch on YouTube and social media, while you're there, hit that subscribe button for us. It really helps our brand and our YouTube page grow. Now, if you missed it at the top of the hour, you want to join us later today live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to sit down with the one and only Killer Karrion Kross and talk to him about everything, his WWE exit, all of those great social media and YouTube videos. Now, apparently they couldn't figure out how to use him. Can't wait to sit him down and talk to him later this afternoon. Now, let's bring my guy back in, Vince Russo. And Vince, I got into it a little bit. Not Sam has a show before mine on SiriusXM, and we're doing a John Cena tribute show on SiriusXM Radio December 8th. And one of the sound bites that they put into the show from his show was, how can they look at this as a failed retirement tour if there's so much demand for it throughout the entire season? And I'm saying, wait a second, are we glazing the WWE here if we're really looking at this retirement tour as a success? And now we're getting to, well, we haven't heard who the last match is going to be against. And we've given out several options, but they've decided to go with a 16-man tournament. And in the voiceover that John Cena did, he said, could be Raw, could be SmackDown, could be NXT. It could be somebody that doesn't even work here. It opened up for everybody. First and foremost, do you like the idea to give us 4 or 5 weeks of content this way?
I'm a storyteller, Coach, so I hate this. Coach, I could tell you this. This is a fact because nobody crunched numbers like I did. Coach, there were times when it's not that we were creatively burnt out. I was never creatively burnt out, but there were times when you're just tired. When you're just tired and you need a breather. And Coach, during those times, you would book a tournament. And Coach, the reason being, Coach, tournaments never drew. Every time a tournament was booked, the numbers were less than. Reason being, there's no stories. They're matches. Right. There's no stories. And Coach, that is a fact. Every tournament I ever booked in my life, I knew we were going to take a hit. So if you're asking me, no way, no how am I booking a tournament for this man's last match? It would have definitely been, listen, I would have been as soon as the Rock thing happened and we had to go to a plan B, I would have had an entire plan B laid out that would have carried John Cena to the end of his run.
And that's kind of where I went with the not Sam thing. And we're buddies, and it's all play because we're doing radio shows. But I do believe there are people that believe. I think he may believe that this was a success, but it's obvious, and maybe we're the only ones honest enough to say it. But I think at some point, John Cena is going to do an interview. It might be a year from now. It might be 2 years from now. And he's going to be honest about the last year. And you can't tell me that when they announced this in January, that John Cena looked at heel turn, Rock a part of it, no Rock, winning the title, Travis Scott losing the title, squashed by Brock Lesnar. You can't tell me that this is what they laid out, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, there is no way in the world Cena would have approved any of that if it was laid out. Again, Coach, giving them the benefit of the doubt, we know there was a situation with Rock, but they should have been able to rebound from that. They had plenty of time to rebound from that.
They really, really did. So now I was like, you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's at least pretend like we're super, super into this thing. And if you're going to come out of the blocks, you've got to have like 4 of these 16 names have got to be bangers, right? So to me, if you want me to tune into a show that just got less than 1 million viewers, Rusev, Shinsuke, Sheamus, Damian Priest, 3 of these 4 guys I've barely seen it all in the last 2 or 3 months. And to me, you want to have names that are believable that they could actually get to the last match, because it's going to take 4 wins to get there. Are these names believable to you?
Yeah, Coach, I'm just going on our good friend, the King of Pops. There's one name in there he's got in his back pocket, and maybe it is an edge. Maybe there's one name, and that's where we're going. I mean, there's nobody else is going to matter. It's going to be NXT people. It's going to be Nakamura. One name is going to matter, and that's where we're going. Maybe it's an edge. It's going to be a name. We know this is Triple H's game. We've seen it over and over and over again. So I have to believe that's a direction, Coach.
Let me ask you this. So if it's going to be a big name like an Edge, who clearly is not in the WWE right now, or a Chris Jericho, who it's been roundly rumored that his deal is coming up, it could be him. If you want that big pop, you're going to get it 3 or 4 weeks before you would have gotten it if you booked him and he came out on December 13th. Are they losing that and kind of stubbing their own toe in a way?
Yeah, they're kayfabing themselves. We always use that term in the business. Don't kayfabe yourself. That means when you have somebody big, don't hold off till the last minute and get as little amount, money from that. And unless they don't have a person signed, sealed, and delivered by now, and they're buying their time. If not, yes, Coach, they are kayfabing themselves.
You talk about storytelling. If I am running a show, if I'm Road Dogg, I think he still runs SmackDown. I think he does. If I'm Road Dogg and I just had less than 1 million viewers, am I not going to Triple H and saying, hey, listen, can we not promote? You don't want to miss the first John Cena retirement tour tournament, whatever you're going to call it, match on Friday night on SmackDown. Not release who the names are, because with all due respect, I like all of these guys personally. I'm not changing my plans Friday to tune in to watch them wrestle each other to get to the final 8, because that's what this is. Yeah. But if it's Brock, I'm tuning in to see him squash somebody to get to the final 8, because we know he's going to go right through to the finals, whether he wins or not. But to me, if you're announcing these two, to me, it just comes off as laziness. And okay, we're sitting in our creative room and we just put some names up on the wall. And we're like, okay, most of these guys are SmackDown guys, so let's put them in the tournament. It seems very non-motivational, if that's a word.
Yeah, it's always, Coach. We always talk about the lack of sense of urgency. And Coach, you and I both know. Coach, listen, I'm telling you, if I'm writing this show and that number comes in, I don't care what was on. I don't care. It was hot. I could care less. But Coach, you and I both know they're looking at that number and they're justifying it. It was Halloween. It was the 6th game of the World Series. There was something else too big than they're justifying that number and saying it's going to be higher next week, rather than, holy crap, we're under 1 million viewers. We need to go now.
I know that super, super, super successful, wealthy people don't show it outwardly when alarm bells are going off. And I went back in my mind when we talk about the quarterly call to what you said, what you always say, is that when you already have the money, there is no urgency to do anything. And when some of these things are coming out of the mouths and you're throwing this type of thing out there, it's almost like they're saying, and to me, it's so disrespectful of John Cena. John Cena deserves all of the effort this company could possibly put behind him to say thank you for the last 25 years. Thank you for having WrestleMania grow. Thank you for being in, 6 main events at WrestleMania out of 41? Thank you. I don't feel like they're saying thank you at all. All they're saying is, hey, John, stay right there. Hey, Boston, would you like to have the start of this tournament? Oh, you would? Okay. And that's all they gave. Vince, next Monday, I guess it's not on SmackDown. I think it's next Monday. I think I've been saying it wrong for a while. But regardless, I would have started on SmackDown, to be honest. But Monday they're going to be in Boston, and they're going to start the tournament in Boston. To me, that's where it should end.
Yeah.
And it's not going to.
Coach again. I'm going to go back to Triple H being one of the boys. Whatever his relationship was with Cena, whatever jealousy there was, whatever, that has a lot to do with it. This is where, and we say this time and time again, this is where they miss Vince. There is no question in the world. The older Vince was getting, the more out of touch Vince was getting, but there were never favorites. There was never any personal, I like this guy, I don't like that. There was never any of that. And you're going to get that with a wrestler booking the show. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
You said something interesting. You said maybe they don't have guys signed, sealed, and delivered. Yeah. There was not a celebrity. There was not somebody walking the earth that was famous that Vince could not talk into being part of the show. Whether it meant writing a big check, whether it meant, hey, we'll promote whatever it is that you're doing. I feel like right now, if you're a celebrity and you're even a moderate fan, and they're calling you, and it'd be like, because it's Nick Khan, who they don't know. It's certainly not the TKO guys. They're not calling anybody. And if Triple H is calling, he hasn't maintained. But when these like Fluffy or all these guys that we love, when Vince calls, I know I'm being used. I know I'm going to be used big time.
Look who he was calling in their prime. Arnold, Sylvester Stallone, in their prime, Coach. They were running to the WWE.
I was sitting there when Sly inducted Hulk Hogan. He wasn't there till the commercial break. Where the hell is he, Coach? I don't know, Sly. Shows up. Sly, my dog. Wait a second. 5 seconds ago, you were cursing his name. But that's who he was. All right, we got to take a quick break. Coming up on the other side, we're going to put a pin in this particular segment because a year from now, we're going to revisit it. What am I talking about? I will absolutely tell you on the other side. This is the Coach and Bro Show every single Thursday right here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Crazy if you don't think that can happen.
I guarantee you, man, there are logos on the turlet.
Pamby. Pull up!
Pull up! I'm an outlaw. Coach and Bro, Coach and Bro, Coach and Bro, Coach and Bro.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Coach and Bro Show here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. I am the coach, of course, my boy Vince Russo from russosbrand.com and Juggalo Wrestling. Now, on Wednesday, TKO, Vince, did their quarterly, the third quarter.
Coach, can I jump in here for a second? I got to interrupt you. But Coach, you and me got a little. I leave this show for a couple of days. I got a question for you, Coach. Then I'm going to let you get into TKO.
Please.
The last I left, Dan, the discount man, was on double dog probation, Coach. And I'm seeing Dan, the disc. No ramifications. Nothing, Coach. Nothing.
No, there are. Have you heard from him during the show?
I have not.
Have you seen him during the show?
I've seen him. I've not heard.
No, you're seeing him backstage.
I'm seeing him backstage.
No,
okay, all right.
He has been suspended.
Okay.
For a show.
Okay,
I suspended him for a show.
Okay,
because of his previous actions.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, Coach, because some people have said Coach is a little soft. I just wanted to make sure.
I do have a soft spot for Double D.
Okay,
I do have a soft. Yeah, so I had to step up and be the leader. I said, hey, this is not personal. You're suspended for one show. You can't come on.
Okay, all right, go ahead. TKO.
Right. Okay, so TKO, they have their third quarterly earnings where they get on a call and you got all these media members on Wednesday. And producer man sends me the highlights, or as I like to call the lowlights. And as expected, and Vince, this is where I firmly believe, and I don't want to be right, but I believe that we're going to be. because as expected, they had a revenue increase of 23% in quarter number 3, $75 million. They're carrying a debt of over $3.7 billion. So Ari Emanuel, who's the head guy who just put $120 million in his back pocket, he came on and started the call. Vince, here's one of the things that he said that is attributing to the increase in revenue. The impressive ratings on SmackDown was one of the 3 or 4 things before he handed it off to Nick Khan. He said they have led in the primetime ratings on Friday night 9 different times during the third quarter. I don't believe it, but even if that's true, in the last 2 weeks, they've hit all-time low 2 numbers. How does he put that into a speech and says that's one of the reasons for $75 million in increase in revenue?
I don't know. I mean, Coach, I don't know. I don't know how you do that unless he doesn't know that. Unless he doesn't know that these are the lowest ratings. I mean, Triple H certainly ain't going to smarten him up. So
that's what I think it is.
Yes.
That's what I think it is. He doesn't know.
Right.
They're not
He
going to
can't.
walk in.
Right.
Yeah.
He can't know and make a statement like that.
This to me is the blinders that I say are always on, that they're ignoring what's really going on around their own business because they're all still making tens of millions of dollars. If I'm being honest, if I was in one of their seats, I don't know how much I would fight back if I'm making that. Nick Khan is always on that list of 10 million, 15, 20. So he's always been that guy. God bless him. I'll tip the cap. Would love to have that kind of money. But then when Nick Khan took over the call, here's where it got very interesting. He said that the 75 million, they broke it down by like 20, 30 here, was mainly due to the increase in ticket prices and the site fees for certain shows like WrestleMania, SummerSlam. And for people that don't know, they get paid to bring those shows there because it's a week-long celebration. Well,
and it brings the city a crap load of money. Crap load of money.
No question.
Yes.
But now they're trying to get site fees for shows like SmackDown, which is why John Cena doesn't get his last night in Boston. And the Boston mayor, whoever, he outed them. He was like, they asked for the world. We couldn't do that, right? But then he also said, you know what? The ticket prices increase was appropriate due to the marketplace and that there is still an overwhelming desire or demand for tickets in the WWE. Vince, they have not sold out a show in weeks. Last week on SmackDown, I had a guy call into my radio show, and he says, Coach, I live 3 blocks from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. I walked to the arena, walked up to the box office. They had plenty of seats, thousands available. I didn't go in. I said, why not? You were right there. He said, couldn't afford it. It was too. I said, day of? He said, 10 minutes before the show. From the box office. He goes, I didn't even look on StubHub or any of those. So Vince, for Nick Khan to say that the ticket prices are appropriate, to me, the fans, when they read this, and not even just the fans, but people who cover this business, we're getting to a point where it's kind of like this. There's a lot more of us than the 4 or 5 of them that keep feeding us this stuff and this information when it simply is not sustainable.
Yeah, and Coach, we've been saying that for a long time, and we've been saying for a long time it was going to catch up with them, and it looks like it has caught up with them. So I want to ask you a question. Sure. Based on those numbers and those facts, do you think they make an adjustment or continue to charge what they're charging for tickets?
No, I think they continue to charge because I think they're so stubborn that they believe the demand will right itself, that people will say, you know what? The John Cena's, the Royal Rumbles, the Survivor Series. Vince, they still have 4,000 tickets left for the Survivor Series from Ticketmaster. That's not even the resale. That's at Petco Park in San Diego. I think because that you're always educating us that they already have the money. They don't need Vince to lower the ticket prices based off of, they also said part of it was partnership deals, media rights deals. When they have the billions and billions and billions, then the ticket prices is no longer the number one revenue generator.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll do it in the short term. But Vince, if we're sitting here and I said we're going to put a pin in this conversation a year from now, and you haven't sold out a show in a year and 2 months, because right now, Vince, they're not even saying sold out. That's the one thing I'll give them credit for. Michael Cole, they're not saying sold out. They're not lying to the public. But this is a problem.
Well, not only that, Coach, in a month, they're going to subtract John Cena from that equation.
Correct.
So let's take John Cena and the hype of a farewell tour. Let's take that away. And what do we have? Yeah, I am sure, like I said, whether it's Edge or whether it's somebody, Triple H is going to pull that rabbit out of his hat. But again, Coach, what word did you just use? Sustainable. You can go to that well so many times, Coach. The well is going to run dry, and you're going to have to depend on your guys on the roster sooner or later, Coach.
I don't think that those guys are going to be as quick down the road to back this regime. If the other thing I haven't heard from the UFC side or the WWE side is when talent, which is the reason these deals exist. Let's be honest. It's not Nick Khan. It's not Triple H. It's not Ari Emanuel. It's the talent in the ring. It's always been that way. Dak Prescott makes $60 million. He's the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, he's the quarterback. That if these guys are not sharing in the revenue, if they're not increasing their salaries, and you're making $7 billion in the UFC side and all these billions on the TKO side, there's going to come a time where the talent's going to be, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
What am I doing this for? So we'll keep our fingers on the pulse, but this is a big deal. Vince, we only got 90 seconds left, and I know you're going to go have lunch. You're going to freshen up, and then in 5 hours, we're going to be right back in these seats. I can't wait to talk to Karrion Kross. And based off of everything we've already talked about, he's a guy that dealt with it. He asked for numbers. He wasn't out of bounds, and they told him no. I can't wait to hear that story as well.
Like I said, what I love about him is what an intelligent human being. You will learn so much about the business from Karrion Kross. I am so looking forward to the conversation, Coach.
Well, I really appreciate you setting it up. And the one thing, if you're new to our show, and our numbers are rising, so there's a lot of you, is that we're trying to smart you up to the business. We're trying to allow you to enjoy, but really see what the business is doing so you can make an educated decision. We want everything to flourish. But right now, you've got 4 or 5 guys over here and everybody else over here. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Vince, great show. I will see you later this afternoon. All right, that's going to do it for now. Remember, every single Thursday, we dominate 2 full hours on Stadium and Bally Sports Live Coaching Company 10 to 11. And, of course, the Coach and Bro Show from 11 to 12. If you don't mind, subscribe to both of our YouTube channels, as it really helps the show grow as well. We'll be back this afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Also, we're on live on Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern time as well. For Vince Russo, for Producer Man, I am the coach. We will see you next time. This is the Coach and Bro Show, only on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Take care.